were immensely patient. I see a lot of founders giving up really soon. After 1 year, 2 year of trying, they say, oh, this is not working, let me go and build something else. We have persisted.
This is something a lot of founders say, that we became successful because we were lucky. Don't say you were lucky or you were right place, right time. What worked for you?
So what was your team strength from that first funding to this period that we're talking about, 2016-17? Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Building in India, which is a podcast that we aspire to add value to maximum number of first-time founders in India. Today we have a very, very special guest, somebody who I've known for a long period of time. Sreeraman, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Pleasure.
Sri has done a lot of things, but Sri has actually started out in life very, very early, even as a child, getting exposed to computers, getting exposed to design. And Sri is one of those people who've made that shift from being an engineer to a designer to going on to build a company and then exiting that company and still managing to scale the company. So Sri, Pushkar and me are going to be extremely excited to hear about your story. So why don't you give us the background of where you come from, who you are, and what shaped your life so far? Because with you, it's about life and design.
Okay, so I'm from Trivandrum, Kerala, same place as you, Sandeep. So I did my schooling, large part of my education in Kerala, including my civil engineering that I got from Kerala University. In 2009, essentially, I started my career, so to say, with Infosys, and that was sort of part of the campus placement that happened from the college. I joined Infosys and did the training for 3 months and sort of realized that this is not my calling. I have to get into design somehow. And that's something that I've been doing since I was, 13, 14. So I used to do freelance work since my school days and continue to do that through college as well. So, and I met my co-founders the most random way. They were from IIT Bombay, but we did not have any overlap of our, times in IIT. My co-founder Harsh essentially messaged me on Behance. He was looking to, we should start something up, and he was looking for people with design expertise. And he actually saw my Behance profile. I had so much of freelance experience before that. All that work was in Behance, and he saw that. And he said, "Okay, let's talk. We are from common, IIT Bombay connection. Let's talk." I saw the mail.
When did Harsh and Farooq leave IIT, or they were still studying?
They left in 2009 and 10, respectively. Okay. So they were working in Opera Solutions at that time, consulting. So I got this message and an email from Harsh. I saw the email. I did not do anything about it. Because at that point of time, I used to get a lot of these emails from people essentially looking for free design work.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not...
We don't have money to pay you, but we can buy you coffee. We can take you to coffee.
We can give you free exposure. So I'm not falling for this. I did not reply. So my girlfriend at that time, now my wife, she was going through my mails. I don't know for what. And she saw this mail from Harsh.
Full disclosure.
Yeah, full disclosure. No privacy, no GDPR, no complaint, nothing. Just browsing through my mails, and she saw this mail from Harsh, and he asked, why are you not replying? Why are you not going and meeting him? I said, yeah, I get a lot of these emails. They're just essentially looking probably for free design work, and I'm not interested. Why don't you go meet? Take a first step. Just go and meet, and you don't know where it will go. Very reluctantly, I decided to go and meet Harsh. We met in signed CCD.
So how did you decide that you are going to work with your co-founders? Is there something that you saw in them that you feel that there is a chord that I strike, there's a bond that I have with these guys that I can do this? Or did it just evolve gradually?
I think initially when you meet people, you have some sort of a radar. and the way they talk, they communicate. You
Did you instantly like him, your co-founders?
Yes.
The-
I instantly like them. Harsh is a very sort of likable person for that matter. Farooq is very very sort of intelligent. So that comes out in the first conversation itself. So those are sort of the qualities that you respect in people, and the rest is anyways a gamble.
Right.
And
right.
at
Like,
least
I didn't like him so much, but when we had a conversation the first time,
No, but because I am both likable and intelligent.
yeah.
He's neither. He's neither.
Talk about this is the first interaction we had.
Yeah.
We spent 20 minutes talking about books, and that's where we realized that we have this connection, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you find something,
Some common ground.
sort of common grounds. Like, Harsh and me, we both were still avid cricket fans.
nice.
Harsh is actually into all sorts of sports.
Sports.
Yeah. So for me, cricket, that was a common sort of, then our mutual sort of love for technology and products and building things, that sort of, clicked essentially. Then over a period of time, I also realized that, as co-founders, we sort of bring in very complementary skills. I bring in the design product sort of skills. Harsh brings in business, sales. You have to sell what you build, right, at the end of the day. And Farooq brings in more of a strategy and a technology viewpoint. So that complementary sort of skill set worked out well for us. You see a lot of companies these days, both co-founders come with the same skill set. Most of our business. That doesn't sort of work out really well. Of course, it works out for a lot of people. But in our case, there was no sort of reason for any conflicts to happen, and each of us trusted the other
Sure.
for the last word in
Right.
each of these directions.
It's a very important point because as per Crunchbase, they did a big survey and realized why do funded startups fail. The biggest reason is co-founder conflict.
Yeah.
That's why most startups aren't able
Yeah.
to succeed.
Yeah.
So you got it totally right at the start.
Yes, and that mutual respect, especially on the domains that they are experts in, trusting their judgment, trusting their call. Because when it comes to something like
But did
design,
it take time to build that rapport, or you?
it evolved very organically. So that's the thing, right? It
Did the
evolved very
IIT
naturally.
pedigree help, Sri? To be very honest, did the IIT pedigree help? Because my question is twofold. One is, did the IIT pedigree help from a rapport point of view? And back in those days, 2012, 2013, did that help you guys to raise the round very quickly as well?
So, IIT has a lingo of its own, where a lot of common words that people use if you spend time in IIT hostels and all.
Like, tell us some words.
Oh, we have even still till now, right? The annual awards that we give to people, we use words like N2 of the year, Crackco of the year, Jugadu of the year. These are pretty IIT lingos. So we sort of had that common thing going on.
You guys have some strange jokes as well, bro. Because I have a lot of friends who went to IIT and they're like, the kind of questions that we ask freshers is very different.
Yeah, I mean, so I was lucky probably because I joined for my master's. So I got away with a lot of those, uncomfortable public conversations. Yeah, so even when it comes to fundraise, right? Of course, that brand name helps. Going out and saying, you're from IIT Bombay.
No, especially that time, Sri. I mean, 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
It was very, very early in the ecosystem, right?
Even for VCs, right? There was nothing else to go by.
Right.
What do you, how do you...
No benchmark, nothing.
How do you, make a bet on these guys?
How do you evaluate founders?
Exactly. So they are in their scoring metrics, of course, being from IIT Bombay makes a lot of, difference. So that helped, I guess, initially. So in around, 7th, 8th standard, we had this computer science course in school.
You studied in Trivandrum.
Yeah, I studied in Trivandrum in Christnagar. So there was this whole book just talking about computers, programming and things like that. Towards the end, there was a chapter on entrepreneurs.
Oh, wow.
I was talking about Bill Gates, talking about Steve Jobs, and origin of a lot of these Silicon Valley OG companies, right? That sort of clicked. That sort of struck a
Did,
chord.
did they also talk about how early they started? Because you seem to have a
Yes.
pretty similar...
Yes. So I decided after reading the chapter on Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, dropouts. Should I even go to college? I even go to college to drop out.
Because Bill Gates, for instance, had an unnatural advantage of being at the
Computers.
computer club,
Yeah.
and he could use the computer for so the 10,000 hour rule
Yeah.
pretty much is applicable, right?
Yeah. So for me, when I read that chapter, right, these two characters essentially clicked. And I knew this is my future. I have to start something that has to do something with computers. How do I get into that? Probably design was the easiest path for me to get into that. I had a natural sort of, aptitude or affinity towards drawing and painting since I was a kid.
I read a really fascinating book called Innovators by Walt Isaacson.
That's the one you gave me as well.
Yeah, and there he talks about both Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, that as kids, they had access to computer, which was very rare in those days.
Yes.
So for you also, I think in India,
Yeah.
90s and 2000s, very few people had access to unlimited programming, home computer.
Yes. So our school had computers. That was a big advantage. Then, so my mother, right, she's a professor in agronomy. So they used to have this large computer lab
Wow.
in her, close to her office.
Like your story is like Bill Gates' story.
I had access to that computers.
This was in University of Kerala.
Yeah, this is in Kerala Agricultural University.
Oh, Kerala Agriculture University. Wow.
So they had this huge computer lab. I used to go and spend a lot of time there, figuring out Microsoft Paint, Microsoft Front Page. Then you had programming in C, Basic. Basic was a big thing, right? Trying to figure things out and all. So that access and essentially spending a lot of time, which when somebody looks at it from externally looks like wasting time. But that exposure helped a lot. It compounds over years and years. Then you become comfortable with using this device, right? First of all. So that was sort of, the big advantage that I had. So, yeah.
So your co-founders also figured out that you understand tech and computers and you understand design.
Yeah.
So that was like,
But for you, you got interested into computers because of design? Like for you, it was design first and programming second?
Yes, absolutely. For me, I would say it was, becoming an entrepreneur or a co-founder or a founder or a Steve Jobs or a Bill Gates first. Then figuring out how do I get into computers?
Okay.
What is the first thing that I can do? So design looked more accessible than programming at that point of time. Programming, of course, takes a lot of time. It's a sort of, different journey that you have to go through. How do you, these days you talk about vibe coding and all, right? There's no one is writing code. People are skipping the whole design phase and getting to the final product, right? So I wanted to get to that final product as soon as possible.
which is
Didn't care.
become a company owner.
Yes,
Entrepreneur.
exactly. And did not really care about programming and design than the final output. So how do I get a website like a Yahoo designed, without even knowing coding? So you can use Microsoft Front Page. You can just keep it side by side and copy things, create those tables, cells, fill those cells and create
Before,
website.
there was CSS was there that time.
Yeah, it was
This is-
CSS was still there, but again, all alien language, HTML, CSS and all. Then you start figuring it out slowly because it gives you so much time, right? Then you figure out, oh, I want to do XYZ now. How do I do that? Front page does not allow me to do that. Does Dreamweaver allow me to do that? No. So what do I need to learn? Oh, you need to learn HTML, CSS to have more control over these things. Then you go figure that out. You learn HTML, you learn CSS. At that point of time, there was this website called sidepoint.com. They still exist.
Yeah.
It was all about, they used to create a lot of content.
I remember there used to be also these book for dummies.
Yeah.
The dummy books were like,
Computer for dummies.
yeah, computer for dummy, HTML for dummies. I remember going through a lot of them.
Yes.
The early 2000s.
Yes. So
Yeah.
for me, SidePoint was the sort of, entry point. So they had this very interesting section called SidePoint Design Contest.
Wow.
So people used to post logo design contest there, and you could participate in that and win money essentially. So I used to participate in so many contests and not win anything for a good 2-3 years. But it sort of fine-tuned my design skills a lot during that time.
This is like how people put money in crypto back in 2010, 2011.
Figuring things out essentially. So didn't win a contest for the longest period of time. But
But that's a very refreshing thought, right? Because a lot of people are born designers.
yeah.
You were someone who learned design.
Yeah.
Because at the start, you didn't win anything.
Yeah.
You took 2-3 years.
Yes, absolutely. Learning learning a Corel Draw or an Illustrator is not very easy.
Yes.
It's not the most intuitive, UI to learn anything, right? So you start almost with, oh, I saw this guy designing something. I saw this guy, participated in that contest and created this really good looking effect on his logo. How do I recreate that? Then you are essentially copy pasting that design on Corel Draw and step by step trying
You're trying to reverse engineer.
you're trying to reverse engineer the thing only, right? So that's how you learn. You can't start with a book or let's master the pen tool first. If you go in that way, right, you're going to lose interest
Right.
in a few
So he's
days.
actually touching on a very important founder trait, which is having that curiosity and that ability to take no or trying to figure it out. Every time you fall, you still get up on the saddle and then try to figure out, okay,
Just one thing you said, like you had a device that you put in the diesel store.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that product? What was that device?
Yeah, so we call that product Shopsense Match. So Shopsense is the company name. So we thought, the store shopping experience has not evolved much over the last decades or years, right? So we wanted to do something cool inside the store. Essentially, those are the words, right? Something cool inside the stores. We're not like really thinking, oh, what customer wants and all. Like, what is that cool technology that we can put in the store that can sort of change the customer shopping experience? So we came up with this large touchscreen device, almost like 40-inch screen or something, right? And there was a model on that device, and there were clothes kept on side of that model, tops and bottoms, and you could mix and match clothes on top of the model. This is virtual try-on before AI.
got it.
All manually done, manually figured out.
Wow.
A lot of Photoshop work, a lot of technology work that we did, and we were able to pull that off. So customers could essentially walk up to that device and see which clothes go well together before they take it to the trial room.
Got it.
So this as an engagement thing was a really fancy thing. So stores are competing, right, in a mall, right?
So AI was not there and gamification was not there, but
Nothing.
you pulled it off.
Absolutely nothing. It was completely raw technology that we had to create this on. So this sort of engaged a lot of customers within the store. The curiosity of people, what is happening here? Oh, this looks very cool. The smoothness of the touchscreen. Touchscreens were not a big thing in 2012 because iPhones were coming in. So people were
Especially on
expecting.
big screen.
Yeah, especially on big screens, it was not an expectation. So that was sort of the initial product.
Screens were also expensive, right?
Massively
From
expensive.
I was just thinking from a hardware cost point of view.
One of the reasons we pivoted
Yeah.
from that idea was this. These screens were incredibly expensive, almost 50,000-60,000 rupees. Now you should at least have 2 screens within a store if it is of a certain size to have any sort of value there. So brands were not willing to invest that much amount upfront. So as a cost, we had to sort of bear that cost initially and then make it up over a period of time in licensing fees and all. So that sort of becomes a very capital intensive to kickstart for any customer. So that sort of was the reason why we pivoted. In fact, we did a lot of study and research on public touchscreen devices. So there is this phenomena called gorilla hands in design, right? You have a touchscreen installed, it's vertical. The user, after interacting for a period of time, they feel their hands are very heavy and they don't want to engage. But we want our user to engage with the device even more. So we actually went to Taiwan. And we spoke to companies. Yeah, we went to spoke to companies like Pegatron, who were suppliers of Apple, to figure out what is that touchscreen device that we could bring into India to really up the game.
But a lot of malls have screens like this, right?
All very
It's all
recent.
design thinking, right? So at least it's easy for you.
Yes.
The gravitational pull of your elbow is not so much.
Yes.
So you don't get your arms.
All recent phenomena. So when I was designing that initial versions, right, I essentially had to go and read papers to understand what is this gorilla hands, what should be the ideal angle. Stores have a lot of lighting. If you go to a lot of stores, right, when there is a touch screen or a screen, the light, when it falls on the screen flickers, you're not able to see. There are a lot of those issues that keep happening. So we had to figure out what is the ideal angle I should place the screen in. What is the ideal height? What is the ideal sort of form factor? Because it influences the store decor a lot. So you have to ensure that it's not like your device is sticking out too much, within the store. So those were the sort of, original things that we did. But, as a hardware, there is a hardware piece involved in it. So it started the progress, right? The speed at which we wanted to move, our ambitions, that were not matching up. So that's when we sort of slightly pivoted the idea.
And this was in 2013.
Yeah, this was 2013, 14, almost a year after, launching, we realized, okay, what else is that we can do? So to build those devices and to make those products inside that device, we had to build into inventory integrations, right? Into almost all the major retailers in the country. We
Sure.
were working with all the major retailers in the
Sure.
country. So we had built those integrations. Then we thought, okay, so we know which product is available in which quantity,
which store.
which store.
Yeah.
What can we do with this information? And this information is very sacrosanct in retail, right? Your inventory.
They don't give it out to anybody.
Yeah, they don't.
Because that is their secret sauce,
Yeah,
their USP, right?
Yep, absolutely. So because we worked with these brands over a period of time, they were trusting, we were trusting. So that's when we sort of pivoted to a B2C idea. So this Fynd.com we launched at that point of time. It was very different compared to any other shopping, e-commerce marketplace. We do not have an inventory. We were completely asset light, no inventory, no warehouse. What you get is directly from a brand store, directly delivered to you. Let's say I'm sitting here, I want to order a Levi's jeans, but it's not, I don't know what my size is. So we had 3 USPs. One is you get directly from a brand store. If it's not available in the Mumbai store, the order will hop to the nearest store available. It's Pune or Bangalore or wherever it is, and it will get delivered from there. But if it's a local order, we had a feature called Find a Fit. This quick commerce that we hear about these days, right? So we tried our hands on it in 2015-16 at that point of time. So we had this USP of super fast delivery because you are delivering from the nearby store.
Sure.
You're not sure you're a 34 or a 36 in Levi's. You place an order, you get both delivered to your home within 60 minutes. You can try what fits you, return the other one, and keep the one that fits you.
Wow.
So this was quick commerce before it became a thing. So obviously the infrastructure, the delivery, infrastructure or the partners.
The whole experience.
Yeah. So, but right now, if you see, right, the delivery, any platforms you see that do quick commerce, right, their infrastructure is so developed in terms of dark stores and delivery, personal warehousing, everything, right? That was not there at that point of time, but we tried our hands at it. So that was one, major pivot that we did in 2015-16 time. Over a period of time, we slowly realized that our end customer is actually the retailer. While we wanted to...
It's like essentially a B2B2C business.
Yes. That's, in fact, in our journey only, I learned that phrase. There is a phrase called B2B2C also. So, then we realized, our end customer is the retailer. Let's build more products for the retailer. That's when we sort of pivoted completely to more of an omnichannel retail tech stack. So we build products and solutions for the retailer, whether it is for their in-store use cases, whether it is their marketplace use cases, or whether it is for their general inventory, warehouse management, transport management. So that's when we really figured out, oh, this is what the company is about.
Wow. So at that time, where other people were also talking about omnichannel?
Yeah.
When you were trying, you were the only ones who were talking about omnichannel?
We were truly omnichannel at that point of time. So in fact, there is this whole concept of new retail that came up around 2018 or so. That was by Jack Ma from Alibaba. He was talking about it. The way retail happens will undergo massive changes. So we were already doing this omnichannel inventory stuff, right? When we started, most of the brands almost used to keep separate inventory for each of their channels. This inventory is for marketplace,
online, and obviously the store.
Yes, there was completely separate inventories. We thought this is a very, very inefficient system of managing your inventory. So we created this omnichannel retail concept where you have inventory, whether it is in store, warehouse, wherever it is, whichever channel has demand, serve that demand. So that was a very, very interesting proposition for a lot of brands because their inventory is getting utilized.
It's
Because you don't
operational
want-
efficiency end of the day, right?
Yeah, massive. And you don't want at the end of the season to realize that, oh, I have this many stuff left in this particular store. What do I do to now, liquidate that? So that challenge was getting solved by, Fynd. We are very ambitious, right? As founders, of course, most founders having this startup, right? They're ambitious. And we saw a lot of companies that started along with us raise truckloads of money and really getting a lot of traction because they were able to spend it on growth and marketing and things like that. But we as a company or we as founders were never able to do that. So our sort of pivot also into this B2C space, which is Fynd.com that I spoke about, right? Was more out of that FOMO, I would say. But we were level-headed in realizing that you have to. We got some sort of a product market fit, which is figuring out and understanding that retailer is our customer. Then you have the good sense to pivot and serve that customer to the best of your abilities. So that's something that we realized. Brands obviously were facing a lot of competition with marketplaces coming out and discounting. A lot of brands had lost a lot of their brand value because they were always on discount in most of the major marketplaces.
One of my favorite shoes brand, Neiman Shoes. I used to buy their shoes a lot, and they have just become a discount brand. They're always on discount, 50-60%, and now people never buy full price.
Yeah, so I think that's again probably a customer psychology thing. You have even outside for that matter, right? People are used to that. So you essentially, figure out your pricing. But figuring out pricing in D2C is the biggest challenge. Once you find out that pricing and you market properly, I think there is nothing that can, stop an Indian D2C brand. So I don't, fault brands for running sales throughout the year. The customer psychology is also like that. Yeah.
But you talked about you started out building a B2C product, and then you realized that, hey, product market fit is not B2C, it's for B2B.
Yeah.
Was that a difficult, hard realization, or you saw like, hey, there's another opportunity, let's build on this? How was that feeling that, hey, we wanted to do X, we ended up doing Y?
It was really hard because everyone wants that sort of certainty and stability, especially when you're talking to your employees, especially when you're talking to your investors. There is a direction that we set out to achieve. Pivoting, these were terms not heard of at that point of time, right?
Yeah, hard pivot, soft pivot.
Yeah, is pivot a failure? You're not sure. Is pivot treated like a failure? You don't know. So, like as founders, you're also little stubborn sometimes, right? You're a little stubborn because you set out on a particular journey, but you're not able to finish that. How do I change my direction? So yeah, it was difficult for us. We used to have this really long discussions. So three of us used to go back. So I used to stay very close to our office. So every day around 4 o'clock we used to leave office. Then another 3-4 hours.
4 in the afternoon?
Yeah, 4 in the afternoon to brainstorm at home because we don't want to have a lot of those discussions
in the office, right?
So we used to sit at my home, brainstorm. What is it that we can do in B2C? What is it that we can, do to build a company that can raise a lot of funds and become successful? That went on for a good 8-9 months. Us trying to find out what is the direction that we need to
This was in 2015.
Yeah, this was in 2016, 17, around that area. So we had multiple pivots, right? From 2013, 14, from that in-store to more of B2C. Yes, hardware to a B2C, then from B2C to realizing, B2B use cases that we had to solve. So multiple pivots we had. So I think post that we became very comfortable pivoting. We were very opportunistic.
Yeah, so Sri, is that a big trait of founding teams, which is the agility, number one, and the ability to go back to first principles and figuring out that, boss, this is not working. Let me start with a blank canvas and then think through it again.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, for lack of a better word, right? You can't sort of bullshit yourself.
Yeah.
That's the whole...
Especially when you're a founder.
Yes.
As an employee, you can in a job.
Yeah. So as a founder, right? I mean, probably things are not going in the right direction. You try to stay the course, but having the uh, having the sort of humility
Hmm.
to probably go back to the drawing board again and rebuild the whole thing.
So basically asking yourself the honest questions.
Yes, absolutely being honest with yourselves. There is no other, and especially when you have co-founders, probably that decision becomes a little more easier. You can debate it amongst yourselves, and if you believe that when you're three smart guys, you debated it enough, you decided, okay, we need to change direction, then probably that is the right, answer. Versus, I mean, I'm guessing solo founders have a hard time.
So what was your team strength from that first funding to this period that we're talking about, 2016-17? You were a sub 100 member team, sub 50
Yeah.
member team?
Yeah, so in 2019, I think we were around 150 odd people.
Hmm.
And the first pivot, we would probably have been 30 odd people. And the second around, sub 100. So these are, times where each of your team members personally also.
Yeah.
It's much easier to make the case versus 1,000 people company saying that, oh, we are going to look at in a different direction. That message does not get through easily compared to a sub 100 team. So that's one of the challenges even now as a company, right? We are at 1,100 people. Our job is mostly to keep reiterating the vision only.
Sure.
Every opportunity we get, we have to keep talking to the team, whether it is at the level 1, level 2, level 3, any sort of gathering. That's what founders do, setting that direction
Exactly.
right at this point of time.
What is the vision right now? Core vision.
Commerce. We have to be the best commerce platform in the world.
Hmm.
As simple as that.
And then, like you said, 1,000 people, 1,500 people. Now you would have layers, like 3-4 layers, because in a startup there are only 50 people. You talk to everyone.
Yeah.
So it must be very difficult now to explain that vision to every employee and to make them believe in it, right? Because now you can't just bulldoze your way.
Yeah.
Like in a startup, you can do that.
Yeah.
In a big company, there is bureaucracy.
Yeah, and it's not just going to be as easy as having just a few town halls as well, right? Because every manager, every person needs to be empowered and
Especially with distributor teams also, right? We do have offices in Noida and Bangalore also. So there are a set of people sitting there also. And, without that physical proximity, again, there is a communication void. So that's what I was saying, right? Continuously communicating again and again, even when you feel that you're repeating the same thing, you have to keep doing it till the last guy gets it. It's a challenge, but that's what you realize. Like now you have a lot of people to look into the day-to-day things, looking to ensure that, every team is doing their best work. But you as a founder, now you're spending, 50-60% on the organization building part
sure.
itself. A lot of culture gets built, in a close sort of proximity, right? When you see things, when you do things together, right? That part was completely missing. You can do as many Google Meet or Zoom calls and activities on weekends on Zoom, right? But nothing beats real, conversations. Nothing beats those conversations people have in the cafe, the cafeteria and all those things, right? So that's some part that has been, missing, I feel, during the COVID years. But now it's mostly, everyone is working from office. So we are able to sort of build that culture back again.
I'm glad you brought this point. Do you remember Robin's podcast? And what did he say?
Yeah.
He said,
Everybody should work from office.
Yeah.
Working from home is counterproductive.
he just, in plain words, he said, remote working is bullshit.
Yeah.
When people sit at one place, talk to each other, magic happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's surprising that he said that because you expect that in tech, a lot of people can work remotely. Now you can manage productivity, process, check-in, check-outs, GitHub, but he still fails.
So I feel, right, even before COVID and all those things, right, remote working was always an option. People, especially if you're in IC, any individual contributor, right, in design or tech, there are periods of time when you want to focus just on your work, not have anything to do with the team, right? So it was an accepted practice. Oh, today I'm working from home. I'm working on ABCD things. I want full focus. I'm going to do that. And we trusted people to do that. When this became a standardized process, 2 days work from home, 3 days work in office, that's when that culture sort of got spoiled, I feel. Now we don't allow work from home as a practice. It's 5 days work from office. But if anyone wants to work from home because they are working on a specific thing, I don't have an issue. As long as your team is in sync, your managers are in sync.
It must have been very difficult for you, considering you've been in design and coding from when you were in 7, 8 standard, mostly an individual contributor. I have worked with some people who are very, very micro specific and attention to detail when it comes to design. So it must have been difficult to kind of let go and let people take judgment calls on the things that you have 25 years of experience, right?
Yeah. It's a. In fact, I was talking to Pushkar before our chat. It's the most sort of challenging thing. Every day I sit for design reviews for our various products, and I see something and I want to correct it so bad. The urge to ask for the Figma link and give me editor access so I can change that is still
How
there.
do you stop yourself?
I stop myself because I know, what is it that ideally the message or the outcome that I want there.
Yeah.
Right? It's not to change that one particular design in one particular change in
Yeah.
that design, right? What I want to really change is the person.
Yes.
What I want to teach them is, what should be done so that tomorrow they go and teach someone else.
Yeah.
That's when the real impact happens, not when I change one,
Exactly.
left align to right align or, smaller things, right?
So how do you give that feedback to the person?
So these days, right, because now as a founder, you're not just looking at one domain, you're not just looking just at design. You want a business outcome for all the platforms, which is when you make revenue, right? And you have to, so you sort of start looking at things from that lens. What is the customer thinking? What is the customer seeing? When you land on a homepage that you have designed, what is the action that you as a business want the customer to take next? Right? So that's a sort of angle that I bring into all these conversations and try to, and then the aesthetics part of it, whether it needs to be a 2-pixel border or a 1-pixel border, I leave it to the designer to choose. If my user is coming and giving me the outcome that I want, should be happy with that.
So it's very rare in this country that here are 3 young co-founders, built a product, pivot, raise money along the way, raise multiple runs along the way. And then you're staring at an acquisition by the largest company in the country.
Yeah.
Did that feel daunting? Did that feel terrifying? Or did you feel that, hey, here is another opportunity to explore, expand? How did that moment look like?
Yeah, it was really, companies of our vintage, right, at that point of time, 2012 vintage, there were very few exits happening. So as an outcome for investors, that was really good. We were also very glad and happy that after so many pivots, having so many investors in our cap table, that we were able to give a good outcome, especially for the guys who came in first, right, who trusted us with their angel checks. So we were very relieved from that angle. Then so I was the one who was looking at the whole due diligence process. Me and my co-founder Harsh, we were both looking at it. I was a little more involved in terms of the paperwork that was involved.
Knowing you must have been very structured and
Yeah, so
thorough,
I had the
thoughtful.
huge file at the end of that was almost like a 6-month process. And you're talking about investors like Google on the board. So there's a lot of funds that were based outside of India. There's all sorts of RBI, all those complications.
Actually, Google's first investment in India was fine.
Yes, with
Then
Dunso.
it was Dunzo, right?
No, with Dunso. Almost with Dunso or after.
Oh, you
Dunso.
guys, you are
almost together.
okay.
So Google was working on that next billion users theme at that point of time. So they thought Dunzo and Fynd were probably companies that could help them in that, with that idea. So so the daunting part was the paperwork, and it was really complicated.
And you've
For
never
us
done
with
this before.
Yeah, especially with no experience in finance, right? And you're looking at all sorts of compliance, legal, RBI, then income tax, all sorts of complications. So many investors, so many individual investors who were resident Indians when they invested in money but became NRIs, became different citizens. You're looking at all those sorts of complexities.
How many investors were there on your cap table at that point in time?
70, 80.
Oh.
Did you hire a banker to help you with the process?
There was a banker. There was a banker who was helping with a lot of the process. But end of the day, there's a lot of this old vintage information that no one else has. Even in the company, right? Other than the founders,
There's no data room.
was
Yeah.
new. Yeah, there was a data room. Half the data room was in our head. So no matter how much anyone else wants to help, it's us who have to finally sit and say, oh, why this happened, or this happened on that date. You have to go back to your Dropbox folder, our old emails. We moved to Fynd.com domain, but we had a ShopSense ID. A lot of the deals were done during ShopSense days. So we had to go do a lot of those, work. 6 to 7 months of really, really intense work we did for the due diligence.
So who was running the company at that point in time? You guys were doing it together when this process was going on?
So I was more involved from a day-to-day paperwork perspective on the deal. Harsh was helping me. He was talking to the investors also. He had connects with most of our angel investors on the cap table. So he was talking to them, communicating with them, what's happening and all. So 6 to 7 months we had to do this, and Farooq was running the ship at that time. So that's how 3 founders also help, right? So 7 months of doing the whole thing, and then the deal happens, and then suddenly you don't know what to do next. You are in this part of this huge ship. You had a small boat till then. It's tied to this larger ship. How do you as a culture, it's different. You're a startup. It's a large conglomerate, right? So how do you adapt and get into those systems, right? So that was a challenge for a good 2 years. But we realized soon after, we were always building retail technology.
Yeah.
Here is this opportunity to play on this much larger ground. How do we do that?
Sure.
So that was the biggest opportunity that got unlocked after.
Yeah, because you have this largest canvas that you can possibly get with retail and data and financial power.
Yeah.
And it's like you have what you need to, without raising any money ever, and without having any more data ever, you're able to.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are always, as founders, right? One of the main worries that you have is running out of money. How do I make the payroll? How do I tell people, oh, your payroll will be delayed for this month? That sort of stress got taken away completely. And especially in 2020, COVID happened. No business for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
We would have struggled at that point of time. So for us, it happened sort of at the right time.
We were talking about earlier the stuff that's happening with AI, especially in design, and the intersection of design and tech with AI is massive, right? I mean,
absolutely. So I started as a designer, right? But over the years, sort of started moving away from design alone and more of looking at how do you build this company? How do you bring growth? How do you look at business? How do you look at finance and all those things? Now I'm more excited about design over the last 1 year with what's happening with AI. And especially because of the fact that nobody has yet cracked that AI UX. So that's a massive opportunity in design. Now you see a lot of these vibe coding tools that have come out. I see people skip the design phase completely altogether. So, but there is still a lot of value that design brings to the table. So I want to figure out what is it that is next for, design in this AI world.
How would you explain design thinking to a novice, someone who doesn't understand design? What is a good design and what is design thinking?
So I would not, design thinking was, as a term, was in vogue for long sort of, period of time. I probably don't know to solve any problem in any other fashion than thinking from like a designer, right? One of the things that even that I keep telling even my teams, right, whether it is engineering, design, product, or anyone, right, you optimize only for one person, and that is your customer or your user. You base every decision that you take. That is the only thing that you optimize for. You don't optimize for your engineering roadmap. You don't optimize for your designers, some other KPI. You only optimize for the end customer and the user, and everything else will follow. So whenever, like I said, right, I review some page, I'm thinking from a customer's, what is the customer seeing here? And I'm looking at this design or this page. So that is what, for me, that's what design thinking is. Of course, you have a lot of processes in that. I mean, processes keep evolving, changing. Some process when you adopt in your company, it does not work out. So you tweak things. But this is, as a principle, has not changed. If you're a designer,
Mm.
you think from the,
Yeah, we all hear about the story that Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive designed the iPhone and different variations of it. And the final time they would call the engineers and say, now this is what you've designed. It's got all these features. Now make it at $200. Right?
Exactly. So in our company also, right, whenever we design, whenever we create any product, right, from a design first perspective versus what is possible from an engineering first perspective, you can see in the end user experience the variations. So you start with this. This is what in my mind is design thinking.
And at Fynd, is this also one of your core guiding principles? Optimize for the customer. This is how
Yes.
how you're building the company.
Yes. So we have around 8-9 principles that we live by. The first one is customer is the king, essentially.
What are some others? Anything really cool you would like to share?
Disagree but commit. That is one of the things that a lot of debates keep happening between engineering and design.
Customer is king. Reminds me of the Japanese. They think customer is God.
Yeah.
So it's very important and powerful concept.
Yeah. So disagree but commit is something else that we have, because that is something that is required to move things forward. A lot of the times we see people debating analysis.
Don't be in a
paralysis.
log jam.
Yeah, they get into this analysis paralysis mode. Oh, where is the data? Oh, this cannot be built. Why do we want to build it? Rebuild it. It'll take time. Let's refactor code. So you disagree to some of the decisions that get made, but you commit. Once we decided, oh, this is how we are going, then everybody
Alive.
everybody works to make it a success rather than sabotaging it.
So as co-founders, like all three of you, are you still involved into the business? All three co-founders?
Two of us right now, me and Farooq, we are on the day-to-day
So
basis.
do you and Farooq, do you also disagree sometimes, or?
Yeah, we do disagree sometimes. So again, same thing, disagree but commit. And then there are certain, like I said
But over
before,
13 years, the disagreement would be very easy. It's probably in codes, right? No. Yeah.
No, so what each of our sort of boundaries are.
Yeah.
And the point I made across respecting one person's word as a final word in a certain domain because they have deep expertise. So in terms of any product design decisions, it's usually my word. Even Farooq will say, just get it approved or verified by SMG only. So that is how we sort of work together.
And I really want to know, because this is something a lot of founders say, that we became successful because we were lucky, we were at the right time, right place. It has become a cool answer to give.
Yeah.
So forget that answer. Don't say you were lucky or you were right place, right time.
That's gone.
What
It's off
worked?
the table.
Yeah, that's off the table. What worked for you?
Patience. We were immensely patient. A lot of, I think, founders in I see, I also invest in a lot of startups, right? I see a lot of founders giving up really soon. After 1 year, 2 year of trying, they say, oh, this is not working. Let me go and build something else, something cool. We have persisted. And we were always, when we went for fundraisers, we were either too early for the market or too late for the market. But we persisted in that journey.
You were never right place, right
We
time.
were never at the right place, right time. So that answer was anyways off the table for me. So I think patience, massive amounts of patience.
Since you also invest in early stages, what do you look into founders when you invest? What are key traits you look into founders?
So the only one thing that I actually look at is, are they in it for the long term? Very difficult to identify. People can, really run circles around you giving that answer. It's probably something that, 2-3 conversations are required to sort of get into that bit of get
Physical conversations, right? Sri?
Yes,
Based on
right,
experience.
yeah. And then of course, referrals from people that I trust. That is sort of the best way to sort of filter it out. But if you were to ask me, are they in it for the long run? When I put in money, I'm actually putting it in that person, that founder.
Exactly.
Actually putting it in the idea.
Exactly.
Idea. I'm hoping that you'll pivot tomorrow. You'll find
Yeah.
something.
Like you
else.
did.
Yeah, exactly. For us also, right? When they put money in three of us.
Yeah.
We pivoted multiple times. They remained there. They knew that they were trusting of us that that money that they put, they will get back. They got back essentially.
So yeah, understanding the risk and asset class, but eventually it's that
It's that person.
person or the group of people.
Yeah,
It's a founder bet.
Yeah, it's a founder bet. This has been an immensely great chat, Sri. I just felt that we were sitting in a living room and talking to an old friend, but I think most...
No, for me, it felt like talking to Steve Jobs.
Yeah, but that too as well. But I think it is incredible amount of insights, knowledge that you've passed on based on your journey. And I think the interesting thing with you is you've come from design, you understand the attention to detail and how the world works, and you love technology, and you've done the full stack yourself, where raising money, finding the right co-founders, building a product, you're actually attacking $1 trillion opportunity, and you have the canvas, and we wish you all the success in life and your business. And one final note is we are in this excellent workspace by Beehive in Bombay, and in fact it's Pushkar and my third city that we've done podcasts in. So a big shout out to Beehive, who've been so fantastic in our sponsorship of spaces.
And
Thank you so much.
Beautiful location. Like it's right in the center of the city.
I think we should go around and take a look at the workspace as well.
Yes, we'll do that.
Thank you so
Many
much.
thanks, Shri.
Thanks a lot for your time, guys.